Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, it's a me, someone else. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as I am always joined, by my co-host, Michael Hearn. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, including Charles Martinet hanging up the Mario voice. And then on Thursday, Mark and I will be talking about PS3, Xbox 360 games that we'd like to see come to the Switch. But in the meantime, Michael Hearn, thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, thank you for having me. Happy here.
Yeah, it's I feel like past due. We've had other Super NPC guys.
You don't have to say that.
No, it is though. I always
finally cashing in.
That's right. Finally. Hearn, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah, just had a good week by myself. Got caught up on some stuff. Now I'm back in the zone of playing games, living with my girlfriend, all that good stuff. She was away for a little bit, and just was writing and hanging out by myself for a while, so it was a little lonely. So now, but now my dance card's pretty full. I'm feeling flush with social attention.
Oh my
right
goodness!
Now. Yeah, too much, in fact.
No, that's I've also been in a little bit of a loneliness hole from writing.
Yeah.
I'm working on a project right now where I've got a deadline that is it's always the deadline hasn't moved. I just move closer in time to the deadline.
We march forward to our deadlines, yeah.
This is correct.
Until we meet the final deadline that is our death, yeah.
They're truly a deadline.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we're in good hands with Hearn. So I'm very excited to have you on. It's like I said, overdue. If people would like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society and check out what we have going on there. Of course, you are under no obligation to support us, but if you support us at the 8-bit or 16-bit levels, you get access to our monthly episodes of miniseries. We just finished a miniseries on the great detective shows of television called NCS Detective Club. We talked about Columbo. We talked about Murder, She Wrote. We talked about Diagnosis Murder. And we are currently in the middle of NCS Goes Broadway, where we are talking about musical theater. We just talked about the last 5 years, and coming up, we're going to be talking about Les Mis, because Mark and I saw it at the Pantages. Yeah.
How was that?
It was...
Not to spoil it.
Yeah, not to spoil our experience, because we haven't talked about it at all on anything yet. But there was a technical malfunction. They had to stop the show temporarily.
Oh, wow.
Which kind of kills the momentum. It was deep in the second act.
Oh,
too.
damn. Yeah, you don't want that to happen.
But it was good. It's I have this thing with Les Mis where I've listened to it so many it's been a part of my life forever. So as soon as it starts, I just feel everything right away. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was good or not.
I'm sure it was. Yeah.
So yeah, you can go there, and another thing that you can do if you are interested in interacting with us more is you can join our Discord. You do not have to be a patron to join our Discord. Just send an email to nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com, and we will send you an invitation to the Discord. A lot of people having good conversations about nerdy stuff in there all the time. Hearn, we've got a couple of debugs from last week.
Okay.
We made some mistakes.
Gotcha.
So things that we need to address.
Last week, patch it up.
Last week, Mark said that the winner of the Money, Fame, and Love Splatfest was Love, but that's wrong. The answer, it was actually Team Money that won.
No, I think I knew this too. Actually, I don't play Splatoon free, but I think I just saw that in the ether, and I was like, kind of made sense. I bet a lot of money heads.
Yeah, a lot of money heads out there. Yeah, well, and you would think that the money heads would be the ambitious ones that keep their head.
Yeah. They got something to prove.
All we know for sure is that Fame was dead last.
That I like that actually more than anything. Because you want Love to win, but I think it's even better that Fame loses. That's not worth it. money is worth the money it's printed on, but fame, it's not worth the name.
It's not worth anything.
Yeah.
And then second debug, a rare double debug for us.
Ooh.
Mark and I did new Smash Brothers rosters last week, where we came up with no repeat characters from previous Smash Brothers games. And I referred to the villain of Metroid Dread as Razorbeak, but the character's name is Ravenbeak. So thank you to Lego Law in the Discord for the correction. I was wrong.
Keeping these guys honest.
Yeah, they gotta. Because otherwise Mark and I will just lie and get away with it. And then last thing I just wanted to plug before we hop into what we've been playing this week is that Mark and I were on Reactivators last week. We talked about Metroid Fusion. It's a very silly episode, so go check that out. Hearn, before we go into what we've been playing, is there anything that you want to plug before we hop over there?
Just my usual plugs. I can do them right now.
Yeah, let's do plugs now.
Problem. Yeah, I mean, I'm a filmmaker in the LA area. You can go to my website, michaelchearn.com. I'm sure you can spell it out from what they give in the link or something.
There'll be a link.
Good. And then you can follow me on Twitter at Michael C. Hearn, Blue Sky at MC Hearn. I don't know why I'd have to then keep it uniform. And yeah, just my usual plug is to fund like the entertainment community fund, because that's actually something that's helped me personally. For support staff in Hollywood that while the strikes are going on, you can donate a little bit of money to them, and then occasionally Twitter will just be like, hey, there's a burrito fund this week for this picket, so why not donate to them? If you got extra expendable cash, why not? That helps.
Yeah, and we'll toss a link in the show notes there as well. All right, let's get in to what we've been playing this week. Hearn, I just want to start with the where did I put my phone? I took a picture of my ticket update in Tetris 99.
Okay.
So Tetris 99 ticket update. Dun 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 dun. 933 tickets.
Wow.
So my goal in Tetris 99 is to collect 999 tickets.
Makes sense. Maxed it out. Is that actually maxing it out, or is that just a very nice number?
I don't know yet. There are these little like tiles that you can get for achieving certain things in the game, and one of them is get 999 tickets. And I don't know if that maxes it out. I don't know if I lose it if I like get that many tickets and then spend some. But this is a years long journey for me now of trying, because you can only get 4 tickets per day.
Oh, wow. So you can do the math, dear reader.
Yes, that's right. And I forget to do it on many days.
That's fair.
But so I recently took like a little break from reporting my progress. But now at 933, I feel good at sharing this number.
It's a good number. Yeah, that's a lot of games.
Yeah.
I have not kept on Tetris 99 myself very much. It's a good game too, so I don't know what stopped me other than like just the competitive nature of it all.
Yeah.
But no, that's very impressive.
I'm not playing too much else these days, but Hearn, what have you been playing?
Have you guys talked about Pikmin 4 much, or are you or Mark playing it? Because I can just chime in a little bit because I beat that recently.
Ooh, no, I would love to hear. Okay, so yes. I picked up Pikmin 4. I think Mark did too, actually. But I had played through the demo before the game came out proper, and then I put I think I did a day after the game actually came out. And then sort of like went back to finishing up my Tears of the Kingdom stuff.
Yes, that's the main,
Yeah. And well, I put Tears of the Kingdom to bed recently.
Good night.
I am like, I don't know, I'm kind of in that like rut right now where I'm like, I don't really want to start something new in the form of Pikmin 4. But I'd love to hear about your experience with it.
Definitely different experience. I was, and I'm still playing through Tears of the Kingdom, but Pikmin 4, when I got it hooked me, and I played it till the wheels fell off. I beat that game.
Wow.
Took about maybe 30 hours overall, and there was an area lull was felt. I think it was very engaging. I think there's a lot. I feel like you may know what it's doing from the first day, but then you play a little more, and it starts to pop up with little additional things it's doing, little side missions, little other ideas it's trying out on you. And it actually keeps a lot of variety going, keeps you wanting to play the next day so you can wrap up what you missed or wrap up something else or explore a different area. And I think it's really effective. It's a pretty easy game, though, even no matter what. Like, you
Yeah.
can easily max out your characters pretty quickly. You can max out some of the stuff and make it a lot easier. I tried my best to keep some challenge at bay, but even some stuff just kind of ended up wrapping up without me trying too hard.
Oh,
But
interesting.
the last mission was pretty difficult, I'll give it that. But, like, still, but mostly the main thing is that it's a very fun new take on Pikmin that they could have cashed in and just been a simple Pikmin game, but they really
Totally.
tried a lot of new things that I think work really well.
I have 2 questions.
Sure.
First is, what is your philosophy on Pikmin death?
Okay. With this, I did in fact, do some rewinds, but
Hmm.
only when it was like very dumb. Like when I gave myself that when a cave and a boss comes up and I don't move my Pikmin close enough and it rolls and kills half my people. No, I'm gonna save them. I'm gonna take them all in on that. But other than that, I don't take it too hard when they do die, and I just move on because I don't know, it's too anonymous. Pikmin are too nameless and high in numbers.
It's true.
It's not like XCOM or something where a character with a name dies, and I feel really bad. And
Right, or like Fire Emblem when one of the characters
especially,
dies.
yeah, like a character you build a rapport with. It's like, no, that was a blue Pikmin that I didn't need that much or something. Actually, and there's even a weird mechanic in there in certain caves where you can turn your Pikmin to different colors.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's kind of like everything's transient in this. Like everything's in flux in the Pikmin world. I don't need to mourn over a few lost Pikmin, because whatever, they could have been fodder for a different machine of some sort. So.
Sure. They're born to die.
Yeah, exactly.
They like it.
Hey, who isn't born to die?
Okay, so that was the first question.
All right.
Second question is, you allude to it being a different take on Pikmin. What do you think like distills that uniqueness of the take? Like, what is it?
Okay, that's a fair question. I think it's doing a variety thing of like, I don't know. There's still an element of like Pikmin is all about exploration, but it also like always had kind of this like tension of doing the exploration right, balancing it more. And I think this one takes it to the furthest thing, and somebody even came up with a new name for it called Dandari, which is the idea of like you're balancing it so much because you can do more than one thing at once. And Pikmin 3 kind of had that with a little bit of a co-op element, which I still haven't played into too much, and I know some people were lamenting Pikmin 4 didn't have. But instead, what Pikmin 4 you can do is whether you want to ride your dog Ochi, which is the main new mechanic of it, which is like a tank dog that you can ride and has its own abilities. You can also split up and have Ochi command his own little Pikmin army on the other side of the map while you're doing it, and you can switch back and forth, and you can kind of come together with plans. And there's a really tough, cool new challenge that is like one of the more fun elements of this game called Dandari Challenges, where you play these little mini Pikmin levels of like very small levels where you have to collect all the treasures in this amount of time. It's a time match. And if you got to really just like plan out your routes, you got to be like, your certain Pikmin are going over this way because you know all those Pikmin are going to be able to do certain things in that area. Like all your red Pikmin will get through the fire, or all your yellow Pikmin will be able to knock out some light bulbs and stuff. Whereas on the other side, you're doing something else, and you kind of go back and forth as time is progressing, and you're accomplishing things and moving around. And it even has like little things of like, you can get little meters even throughout the game that tell you when Pikmin are being idle, and it kind of puts the pressure a little bit onto you to make sure you're always doing something. Because even though it's an easy enough game, and there's no like the days don't matter, like it's not like Pikmin 1 where you have to beat it in 30 days, so you can always be like, whatever, that day I just did one thing, I don't care. But like I feel like when the game is really rolling in certain challenges like that, it does put the pressure on you to really feel like I'm doing as much as I can in one go.
I do the little bit that I played, I did really like that. It felt like you're saying, an individual day doesn't matter, but the time constraint within the day still does.
Yes.
So that like you are still trying to wrap something up before the sun goes down. And so there's like that kind of urgency there. But if you're like scrubbing a day, you don't feel like you've like totally wasted something.
And there's some like weird flux with like the day timing. Like you can go into a cave and that doesn't take out any time of your day.
Does that just slow way down?
Yeah.
Or is it actually no time at all?
Maybe it slows way down. And at least in most cases, I haven't seen much of a difference. And I think I've only occasionally stepped out of a cave without it being completed. But there's plenty of quality of life stuff for like as an adult I really appreciate, where it's like going back to a cave, I don't have to replay the whole cave over again.
Yeah.
Unless I want to go to a specific level or something. But I can just go back and start where I left off, and it's no punishment. In fact, it's pretty easy. So there's elements like that kind of add to it if you ever do want to like bop out of a level and see that. But yeah, I don't think it's less about the time constraint as an actual punishing thing and more just like the intent of like maybe you're setting your own goals or like things you're trying to achieve and move on quickly or get to the next level. So yeah, I think it's just a good like balance of like the adults can like get into the groove they once had without being punishment, and kids can like maybe find it more challenging and get into like they have but not feel like unfairly punished or something by it. So I think it's a good balanced Pikmin experience. It's probably like as great as they could have made it right now.
That like split attention thing of like putting your little guy and Ochi on like two separate tracks and like them both managing like a separate pack of Pikmin is so interesting because like I mean, first of all, why weren't they doing that something like that on like 3DS, right?
That would have been cool.
Like,
that
you got two screens,
exactly,
or the Wii U or something.
Yeah.
And then also like. Is that just like a kick that they're on right now? Because right now, my example is from 4 years ago. But Luigi's Mansion 3 has that Luigi Gooigi kind of dynamic, and where like you can do that multiplayer, but you can also like you just have to also use Gooigi to sort of have two Luigis like kind of both doing their thing. I don't know. There's something very compelling about that. Sarah and I are currently playing through Super Mario 3D World, which is a game that we play, I don't know, like once every year or so. Love that game. And it's got one of my favorite like new power-ups in like any Mario anything is this cherry that duplicates your character.
Yeah, the multiple minis almost.
Yeah, the multiple cherry or whatever it's called, duplicating cherry. I'm just making up names. I don't know.
Pairing cherry. I don't know.
I'm
rhyming with cherry.
That's good. And I just like having multiple copies of my character running around at the same time.
Sorry, can I do a punch up?
Yeah, go.
The Mario Sheeny cherry or
the Mario Sheeny pairing cherry is perfect.
Give it the full name. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. The bigger mouthful it is, I think, the better.
That's true.
But yeah, it's let's duplicate characters. Let's split my attention. Like that's a cool like way to. And I'm sort of hard pressed to think of like other games like outside of Nintendo that are like asking for that kind of.
Gotcha. That isn't just full on co-op or something.
Yeah.
Which there has been like, especially I think there's been a good generation lately of like games designed for gamer guys to play with their girlfriends of like moving out
Takes Two.
It Takes Two or that cooking one that I think I have
Overcooked?
Overcooked is a big
man,
one
I love
for that.
Overcooked.
Yeah, I think it's a fun idea of like just easing them into like gaming dynamics to maybe get them into it. My girlfriend currently is playing a lot of Fortnite, which is a more complicated game and not one we can really co-op on the same system. But it is like, it's cool to see her actually progress at a game that's like something I would play. And and I do like these side games that we can get into sometimes without it being just like too rudimentary or baby game. Like still like fun challenges. 3D World should be a good one I should get her into actually. That would be fun. Because I think we played like Sackboy similarly.
Oh yeah. No, it's like 3D World is Sarah's game. Like I love it too, but it is her game. She like had that hankering to get back into it, and so we played again. We're currently just like wrapping up the last couple because to get everything in the game, you have to beat every level, touch the flagpole with each of the 5 characters.
That's right. Yeah,
and so like, there's the last like week and a half has just been like going back through levels that we've beaten already. Yeah, and just making a beeline for the flagpole. Anything else you've been playing?
I'm just started it, so I'm not going to have too in-depth of a take on it yet, but I got Bomb Rush Cyberfunk for Nintendo Switch, which is the...
Tell me about Bomb Rush Cyberfunk.
Yeah, I've seen people get it a little bit wrong, and I don't blame them. It's a weird name, but it is a game that's inspired by Jet Set Radio Future, not made by the same developers, just Sega's not really doing that type of thing. But it's got the same composer. He made a couple of songs for it, and a lot of the other songs on the soundtrack are very inspired by it. And the game itself plays pretty similarly, but it's got its own kinks and interesting takes on it. And if you're not familiar with Jet Set Radio Future and the ilk, it's cel-shaded skating game where you're running around cities in like a Neo Tokyo experience, spray painting against other gangs and avoiding the cops, which are like often like SWAT teams with robots and stuff. And you're doing a lot of cool tricks a la Tony Hawk and really define gravity. And yeah, the spray paint mechanics varied in all the games. This one also varies from both of them. It's an interesting take on it that I like. Some people don't. And it's kind of this fun little like mini game of using your analogs to kind of draw out some real connections real quickly. I haven't gotten as good at it yet to really differentiate it, so I'm spray painting a lot of the same stuff around when I think the point is you're supposed to vary it up.
But that's also what real taggers
yes, that's
do,
true.
Right?
They're trying
do the same thing over and over
They're
again.
trying to be ubiquitous with their specific signatures. So maybe I'm a really good spray painter, actually.
That's what I'm saying. Is
yeah.
that maybe you're a real good tagger. Yeah.
Thank you. I have to hear it from a friend. Yeah, I help your friends out sometimes.
That's right.
But it's a fun take on it so far. I will say it's a lot more story heavy than the other Jet Set radios were because it's got a weird idea to it, I guess. And I think it's taking itself a little seriously with that, which, let them do that. It's their like own game. It's not beholden technically to the Jet radios. But it does take me a couple of times of being like, all right, let's just move it along to get to the game.
Yeah.
But so far, it's pretty fun. I think it's going to be like, it's also showing just a simple game. So it's like, yeah, I could knock this out probably sooner rather than later. And I'm kind of doing that instead of getting back to Tears of Kingdom, which I should be doing.
Can I ask where you left off?
In Tears of Kingdom,
yeah.
I am at Hyrule Castle for the first time. I don't know. But I did all the four main temples.
Yeah, the atmospheric phenomenon. Yeah,
exactly. Which atmospheric phenomena might come into play later in this podcast. But yeah, I did all four of those. I did some general side stuff of like I've gone to the depths a little bit. I've done a couple quests. I found all the tears of the dragons, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like I haven't done everything. I haven't done a lot of certain specific items. So I'm just.
You got that Master Sword?
No, that's one of the ones I haven't done.
Got to get that Master Sword.
I should, but instead I bum rushed Hyrule Castle right now, and I got to a certain boss character in it. So I'll see if I can do it without the Master Sword and see what comes up next. It seems like just from a little bit I looked around a bit, maybe I can, and that's fine. And then I still have time to wrap up long after because there's still plenty more.
Yeah, there's like a surprising amount of games still left in there.
Yeah,
even if you're just like golden pathing it, like there's still a bunch more.
No, and I mean I feel like that's kind of like this would have been where in Breath of the Wild maybe it feels like the end game. Instead,
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
yes.
Now there's way more. So I'm like, all right, good. I'm not making a mistake by missing out on like my Master Sword or everything. So
yeah, but get that Master Sword.
I
man.
should.
It's so good.
I know it's there. I know it's out there. They put one in every Zelda game, so I better find it.
And then just last thing I want to mention, it's not something I've been playing, but my analog pocket that I ordered a year ago Thursday I got an email that it is preparing to ship.
Yeah.
Which is very exciting.
I got that email too, buddy.
Did you?
Yeah, I also did the pre-order, did it whatever time it was that made us there instead of like our friends who got it already.
I know. It is infuriating to see that like other people have had it for like 9 months.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited to have it. I don't know if I told you or showed you, I got the analog, when they announced it would be their last run, they put up the Super NT and the Mega SG as like, this is our last run. If you want it, you better order it now. I did, and again, took a while, took until a couple months ago. I got them. Maybe last month, actually, not even a couple months. But like, I got them, and I don't have a lot with them because all my stuff's back home, but I'm very excited with what little I was able to test them out with. They are very sleek, and I also got them when I was unemployed, and I was considering, should I cancel this and get back my money or not?
Oh, no, but you want them, though.
No, I'm very glad I didn't, because we, immediately after I got them, even without all the stuff I have to play them, we did get, like, I got a Jade for a little bit. Kelsey got some good Jades that got some money question. We got help from the entertainment community fund plugged it in, and then, it's just like, it would have sucked to cancel it, been okay, and been like, I didn't need to save that extra couple $100. Same with the pocket. I'm going to be very happy to have that.
Yeah, I'm going to be very happy to have that. I also have the Super NT. I like it a lot. There's just, I don't have like a CRT TV anymore. So like, just having something that is connecting natively, in HDMI, like, is huge. And I've got this, like, my Super NES game collection, it has like traveled with me for like every time I move. I'm like, these all stay with me.
Yeah.
And I've got like basically any of the like all the first party Nintendo stuff, the like big Square Enix games, the Final Fantasies 2 and 3 and Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana, Secret of Evermore. Like I've got the games that I want to play on Super NES, and no one can ever take that away from me, except the slow decay of time as those batteries die. But yeah, Super NT rules. Analog makes some cool products.
Yeah, I can now officially say, having tried a little bit of the NT, like, yeah, Analog is really cool. They're worth the big bucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like a premium product.
Yes.
All right, that's what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week. Okay, so I pulled all of the new releases coming to Switch, and honestly, there's nothing in this next week between now and next Monday that interests me at all. Was there anything on this list?
I saw your little thing about that. Yeah. There is one game. I think there's actually a couple games on here I do in fact own on Steam. Not to bring it up on Nintendo.
No, that's okay.
So I can talk about. I haven't played one of them, but the one I have played a little bit of, which you have in your notes, should I just say it, or do you?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
All right. It's called Shotgun King.
Okay.
And it is the final checkmate, I should say, the full title. It is a roguelike kind of like strategy, like randomized game where you play as a king with a shotgun on the chessboard, and each level is kind of randomly assembled to some degree of like difficulty ascending opponent chess pieces that move the way chess pieces move.
Yeah.
And you're trying to meet up with them and blow them away before they get to you.
That's pretty funny.
And it's an interesting idea. I bet it'll play pretty well on the Switch because it's not like it's turn-based. It's not like it needs anything too intense. And it's a pretty simple idea. And I believe it's going to be pretty cheap. It was like $10 retail, and I got it in some bundle. And it's silly. It's fun to like have those silly kind of like indie games on there.
Yeah, that's Shotgun King, the final checkmate on August 24th, which is Thursday. My birthday.
Hey, happy birthday.
Thank you. What was there another one in here that you had?
No, it wasn't one I actually played, but again, I looked it up and I was like, oh, I have this on Steam somehow. I just it was a JRPG sounding one, or it is a JRPG that I haven't really tried. Let me look it up and I'll tell you what it is, because I don't want you to have to guess through all these.
Yeah. There are a handful.
Oh, Virgo versus the Zodiac is what it was, which comes out day before your birthday. It is. I've not really looked into it, but it looks like an interesting take on JRPG, like turn-based combat in a different world. And again, I'm not entirely sure why I have it on Steam.
Maybe part of some kind of bundle.
Yeah, something like that. Sometimes my sister gifts me some random games that she like promotes or likes or something. That's kind of the vibe I got from some of these games I was looking up upcoming.
Oh yeah, it's got kind of like
very indie.
Definitely like turn-based, but like the graphics in it look like very like Apple II.
Yeah.
Kind of like high contrast colors and not a lot of them.
That's a good way to call it. Yeah, like very throwback graphics.
But speaking of throwbacks and JRPGs, the one upcoming new release that I wanted to talk about was Sea of Stars, which comes out Tuesday, August 29th. So a full week away. Did you play The Messenger?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So is this a game that's been on your radar for a while?
It has
too?
been. Yeah, the idea, it's kind of a prequel, right, or some relation to The Messenger somehow.
Yeah, like
on top of
thousands of years in the past or something.
I know, it's the goofy thing of like, you're already knowing that you're like coming to it from The Messenger people, so might as well just tie it into a universe. But like,
sure,
seems like a really cool idea. Seems a really cool look to it. They've done it well before, so I'm excited for them to do it again.
Yeah.
And I mean, I say that, and I still like RPGs are the hardest ones for me to get into sometimes game-wise, like especially nowadays. Even there was a recent one called Chained Echoes that I'm like, everyone loves, and I just don't have the time to sit down and start. This, I'm like, I'll be curious, definitely, for sure. It also is, not to keep speaking about non-Nintendo stuff on your Nintendo themed podcast.
It's okay.
But it'll be on Game Pass, too, so I'm like, all right, that's definitely
that's a great point.
No reason for me to not try it, so...
Yeah. And I think there's a demo version of it out, too.
Wow, already?
But, like... I've been waiting for this one for a while. I loved The Messenger. I'm not really in the habit of 100%ing games at this point in my life, but I did with The Messenger. And as soon as that the beach, whatever the expansion that came out for it, like I was on that right away and like wiped it out. So like these are it's a development team that I trust, and so I'm going to be all over Sea of Stars, which like we were saying, like JRPG looks like it's got kind of like a Chrono Trigger kind of vibe to it. That like 16-bit graphic style, but also just in the like sort of like bigger sprites that feel more like a Secret of Mana
definitely
style proportions.
That world building inside like the real world where it becomes the combat as well instead of having a transition. No, that's a very cool look for them. I think at the very least they're going to get the aesthetic completely right.
Yep. So looking forward to that. All right, Hearn, let's get out of the new releases. Which brings us to a regular segment on our show. It is time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance of 433, Hearn and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Michael Hearn, we just lived through sort of a hurricane.
Yeah, just barely.
Just barely lived through it, or just barely a hurricane?
Both.
Right.
Hurricane Hillary hit the coast of California, and was supposed to be a much bigger deal than it was. Then it got downgraded to tropical storm, and then as of this Tuesday, got downgraded to clear skies. So.
Yes, that's to a sunny morning.
Yes.
I mean, a little bit anticlimactic in that, right? I mean, thank God, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, it could have been bad.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the tension point of living in California. People are like, what about the big one? The big one's going to come. The fault lines are going to fall apart. And then, I don't know, nothing's happened so far. And we're just...
And that's the thing with
in our luck.
With the big one or any earthquake is like the big one could happen at any point in the next 10,000 years or not at all, Like, that's... Earthquakes are wholly unpredictable, but hurricanes, we can see them coming on.
We even got a little bit of a tremor yesterday, too.
We
did, you feel that?
Yeah, I don't know. I got the alert on my phone saying that there was...
I literally was in my car, and my car's kind of an older, junkier car, and I was moving it because I didn't know if the school that was going to be open today was going to be open, so I had to move my car away from it. And I just felt it, but I also was like, for a second, being like, is that just my dumb car doing something weird?
Right.
And then it ended.
Sarah and I were sitting here on the couch, and I was like, we got the alert on my phone, and she was like, do you feel that? And I was like, I thought you were just like moving around on the other side of the couch.
No, definitely.
But so we thought that we would take this opportunity to talk about storms in movies or TV shows, those that are like that stand out to us as notable. I mentioned to you before we started rolling that Sarah and I watched Jurassic Park yesterday, which is what we were watching when the earthquake happened.
Very good movie.
A great movie.
Yeah, I'm understating it. So
that's a movie. You don't need to try to big time Jurassic Park. I think it's okay.
I am though. I saw that as a kid. I love that movie.
Which not an earthquake, but like the T-Rex makes the ground rumble, and then there's obviously a storm in there.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely the end of Nedry has to do a lot with the elements conspiring against him.
Other storms from movies or TV shows that we like?
I was thinking about a really cool practical one. Have you heard of the movie All Is Lost with Robert Redford?
No.
And this is 2012, 2013, so older Robert Redford.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting movie. I saw it in theaters. It's a very interesting concept because it's just him on a boat. And the idea is that he's
old man on a boat?
Old man on a boat at the sea. And basically when he was asleep, his boat accidentally ran into some dropped off cargo, and his boat now has a hole in it. So he's like, all right, I turn around, go back. But wouldn't luck have it, a big ass storm comes his way, and there's a very cool practical shot that they must have done on one of those giant things at Universal Studios where they have a big ocean set and everything, where it's him on his boat and the storm is attacking his boat, and at some point the boat flips upside down in the water, and he has to it's just this really cool practical effect, and it's Robert Redford in it acting against the elements, and it's really cool. Well worth seeing for that.
What's the name of the movie?
All Is Lost.
All Is Lost.
And it's kind of just a one man fighting for survival against the elements, and most of it's a storm, but a lot of it is also just being stranded at sea. But that one storm moment, very cool.
A storm moment that in a movie, it's kind of the whole movie, but in The Abyss, That there is they definitely named the storm. It's like Maria or something. No, it has a man's name. It's like Hank. It doesn't matter. Just
either way, subtext.
That's right. But it's just like it's the reason that they're cut off from what's going on the surface and have to deal with the alien / possible Russian submersible thing and coffee going nuts. I don't know. It's like the storm in The Shining, keeping them like in the hotel and like they can't leave. It's like that, but for an underwater drilling thing.
Interesting. Yeah, it's been a bit since I've seen that. I do like when Cameron does like the really cool practical world outside the world, kind of like caving in elements. Like I like the avatars for that too.
I saw recently someone post a clip from the end of the director's cut of The Abyss, where because in the director's cut of The Abyss, they like show that the aliens were going to like send a tidal wave to destroy mankind, but then pulled back, and then it's not in the like theatrical cut.
Interesting.
But there's footage of people like watch. It's like a newsreel, right, of people watching this like giant wave. Oh, that's the end of the performance of 433. But I'm going to finish the anecdote. Someone like watching this wave just gets pantsed. Like just totally randomly, like
just a fun little prank before the end of the world.
Just a fun little prank, just get pantsed. All right, we were accompanied today by an ensemble at the Musical Instrument Museum in Phoenix. Michael, let's get into the news.
Boop.
All right, so Charles Martinet, voice of Mario, stepping down as the voice of Mario and Mario family characters, stepping down after over 25 years voicing all those characters. The announcement came in a tweet from Nintendo. The announcement reads, quote, Charles Martinet has been the original voice of Mario in Nintendo games for a long time, as far back as Super Mario 64. Charles is now moving into the brand new role of Mario Ambassador, capital M, capital A, Mario Ambassador. With this transition, he will be stepping back from recording character voices for our games, but he'll continue to travel the world, sharing the joy of Mario and interacting with you all. It has been an honor working with Charles to help bring Mario to life for so many years, and we want to thank him and celebrate him. Please keep an eye out for a special video message from Shigeru Miyamoto and Charles himself, which we will post on a future date. Huge.
Yeah.
Charles Martinet.
Very seismic. This was the real hurricane event of
I think you're right.
The last 48 hours.
I think it's why Hillary downgraded itself
they were
to...
just, we're going to be secondary news no matter what, so let's just call it up. It's sad. It's a shame, and it's funny to think that he's been voicing Mario almost all my life. And because you think, like since Super Mario 64, even that's when it needed a voice really, outside of like the cartoons and all the adjacent stuff. But like that's the official voice. They chose well. He did a good job. And I'm also glad that again, if anyone has to be the very first Mario ambassador, it's Charles Martinet.
Also, just like what a title, right?
It is. It's no one else can have that title. Like, I don't think anyone else can be the second Mario ambassador. Honestly,
I mean, Miyamoto's sort of been the unofficial Mario ambassador. But
I know
he's maybe Pikmin ambassador at this point.
True. Either way, it's like the official one, and I like that. And I mean, I'll be curious to see what his role will entail. If it's a very like Reggie style, like kind of adjacent to the news, or if he's going to be much more involved, which he can be. But it's the reason of like why is he becoming that role instead of continuing his service as a voice actor for Mario? Because he's not even. I've heard the rumblings. It's not even going to be in Mario Wonder, which is this year.
Yes. So related to that, rumors of Martinet's no longer voicing the character started to appear after the June Nintendo Direct, which featured clips from the upcoming WarioWare Move It and Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and some people clocked a voice that wasn't quite right in those trailers. And then there's this little nugget here from the Polygon write-up, which seems to confirm this. And here's from Polygon's piece. Quote, in an email to Polygon, Nintendo confirmed Martinet would not appear in Wonder. Quote, while Charles is not involved in the game, we're excited to honor his legacy and contributions, including looking ahead to what he'll be doing as Mario ambassador. So yeah, there we go. Confirmation that Martinet is not involved in Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because like it could have been anything. It could have been like a temp track or something, or they got one of their interns to just go wahoo.
Yeah, I mean, I also, I mean, it's something that I didn't clock during the direct. And then when people were being like, listen, that voice sounds different, I was like, I don't know. I don't think it matters. Like, voices sound like, you know, we were talking before we were rolling about like the new season of Futurama.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I don't know.
They're older.
Billy West is like 70 years old.
I'd get back into it. Yeah.
So, yeah, and I mean, similarly, Charles Martinet is 67 years old. Like, I have to imagine that gets tiring to
after 25 years.
Yeah, and like how long do you want to be like laying down woohoos, you know? But yeah, it's I mean, I guess it'll be sad to see him go. Honestly, I'm kind of more excited about like what this means for like new voices coming in and like, you know, I don't want to say that they've been like hamstrung by the voice that they have for Mario, but like, you know, when there was news of a Super Mario Brothers movie coming out, and people were like, well, what are you gonna do? Like have Charles Martinet like do that goofy voice all the way through? And like their answer was no, we do this other thing with Chris Pratt. But like you can't do a Mario game with a voiced Mario. You know, like
not trying to have cutscenes talking to like Princess Peach. It's always like
absolutely.
It's about the energy of like his action, and that can always come across any sort of different way. And yeah, maybe their new directions are going to express that too. Like maybe it's kind of shaping up a new direction of Mario altogether that, you know, Martinet's old style doesn't fit. But it's probably more just like it's his decision as like a grown man. And
I mean that's my sincere hope is that it is his decision as a grown man.
And like he's still like friends with the company. He's still going to do good stuff for them. He's still the man who's doing it. But it's also like he gets to be known for the one cool thing, and now he's got another Ferris cap, which is Mario Ambassador, and whatever that'll entail. But like, yeah, I mean, it's anything else. It's Mario has seen all sorts of different shapes and sizes, and even filmic representations. So if Charles is like done with that stage of his life, so is Mario, and Mario can, you know, whenever we get Mario, it's always been a good time. Like, just think of it that way.
I mean, let's continue to trust Nintendo that like they're making some sort of creative choice.
I do.
It's not even a possibility that I entertain for a second. What do you think about the possibility of like future Mario voice in games being Chris Pratt?
Oh boy, no, I don't appreciate that because Chris Pratt didn't even do that for his Guardians of the Galaxy game. So it's funny to be
Great point.
It's funny to be like, no, I'll do it for this Mario character that I clearly put in so much work in the movie that to make it sound so different and fleshed out. It's like, no, I don't think that'll happen. The idea of I still don't think even it'll have that kind of similar tone or something from a future.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like there is a little bit of a good counterpoint to this is that there is a actor, I keep blanking on his name, but there are these new versions of the Looney Tunes cartoons. There are almost all of them are voiced by this one guy who does like the new Bugs Bunny, the new Daffy Duck.
Okay.
And you could eagle eye hear a difference between him and Mel Blanc and all the like older voice actors. But he does it like in his own way, and it's still, you can tell there's like he's using Mel Blanc in them as a base. He's still building up from like what we know what Bugs Bunny sounds like.
Yeah, totally.
To do these new versions, what Porky Pig like. And he's a really good voice actor. So it's like, yeah, the good voice actors are not going to be that hard to find, and you will find the right next new Mario who can take all the like background that it came from and build up something that's like maybe a little more contemporary, maybe a little fresher, maybe has more range even. And it's not going to degrade or downgrade like the idea from before. So I don't know. I'm optimistic that they'll find good voice actors. Because they found really good voice actors all the time.
Yeah.
Have you seen the video of like the actress who plays Kirby, and it's like this adorable Japanese lady?
Oh yeah,
do it. Who does the voice, and you're like, oh yeah, that's Kirby.
That's perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think all the time about how like, you know, obviously Mickey Mouse has been voiced by a bunch of different people through the years, and the current voice of Mickey Mouse for the like sort of classic stuff, is his name is Chris Diamatopoulos.
Yes.
Who I know mostly from Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Who plays that Trace Commas guy.
Yes.
But like the voice that he does for those like magical world of Mickey like cartoons, which are great.
Yeah, no, I like those a lot.
He's really good, and like the any animated character that because they exist forever.
Yeah,
animated characters don't go away. Yeah, we should just be welcoming of new actors and letting people also like take a break.
Yeah, definitely. And if they are deemed to do it, they are deemed to do it. Like again, the Futuramas, I'm happy to see the same people come back and still do a voice, and it's not it's not wrecking or hurting them, so they're doing it well. So and they've changed a few things. I haven't kept up with Simpsons, but I know certain like voice characters have changed or gone the way of the dodo or been replaced. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just optimistic that like there's plenty of talent for like this type of work and people will love it.
And let the new talent, come up in that.
Yeah.
I just want to do like a gut check here.
Sure.
Mario Ambassador, great title.
Yes.
Right?
Maybe the best title?
Maybe the best title, but I want to float a title that I was given once.
Oh.
Okay.
Right.
So I did a for the 100th issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I worked with IDW to do an oral history of those comics, and they credited me as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles historian. So Mario
awesome.
Ambassador is a good title, but
damn, it makes it sound like you're part of the universe, like you're the one on the ground floor with like the Ooze company. Like,
that's right.
Like noting what's happened, what's changed, all that.
Yeah, I'm like a field reporter, Artie O'Neill.
Yes.
Speaking of Super Mario Brothers Wonder, will we be able to play the new game with online multiplayer? Currently, it's an active question as the Japanese product page the Japanese product page says that details for online play will be revealed at a later date. So,
see, that's creepy.
It's right. We don't like. What does that mean at a later date?
They're just biding the time, calming it down, but I feel like my gut says no.
No online play?
I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's going to be something weird like multiplayer, specific versus mode or something, like how they had some weird like versus multiplayer modes in like some of the Super Marios, right? Like Mario Maker.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mario Maker did have like Super Mario Maker 2 had like genuine online multiplayer, but it was kind of busted.
Exactly.
Super Mario 3D World also had online co-op.
Oh.
But New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe did not have.
That might have been too
online.
old to punch it. Maybe. All right.
Yeah,
so,
maybe.
All right. That maybe.
And also Disney Illusion Island, which is another like multiplayer game, does not have.
Oh, it doesn't.
So
okay. See, that's the gut punch. I'm not the gut punch. That's the part of my gut that I was like betting on. Like, no, probably not, because I feel like it's not even a latency or lag thing. It's just I feel like also it's not the same spirit of being in the same room with the person you're platforming around with. And can have like dictated things to do, because I think they even tried to do something similar. I don't know. I have some weird flashbacks of like you could press a button and send out a signal of like stop, go, or something.
Oh yeah, sure. Like that little like that non-verbal like communication.
Exactly. Yeah. But I feel like it's too much to ask for like a simpler co-op type of game like that. But I mean, I don't know. If they try it and it doesn't work that well, fine. I'll still probably just play it at home with my girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly how I'm playing it. But like, yeah, if it would be nice to, because it's 4 players at once.
Yeah,
like, it would be fun to like get friends from across the country or whatever to play together.
Yeah, no, I know, and I mean it's the thing too of like games that work like that well right now, like the Shredder's Revenge for the new Turtles. Works pretty well to have like a lot of people playing at the same time, but that's like a different system and different style of gameplay.
Yeah, that's true. You don't really need to communicate at all.
Exactly. It's pretty obvious what you're all doing. But I don't know. I'll be curious. I hope the details they reveal are positive or good or like have some other thing. Maybe they're just revealing how like communication works, because I mean there is one bad thing about the whole Switch Online experiences is if a game does require or wants to have a vocal element, you kind of have to connect with that app or something.
Yeah. I mean, and at that point, you just like hop on Discord or something,
exactly.
Right?
I feel like maybe they're getting smarter about that. Who knows?
Super Mario Brothers Wonder comes out October 20th. And we'll have a Nintendo Direct at some point in September. We always do. So I imagine we'll get these extra details.
Yeah,
we'll get them then. And then we won't have to speculate anymore. Last week, Nintendo revealed plans for the Drizzle season for the next new event in Splatoon 3. I'm also not super playing Splatoon 3, but new stages are coming. Crab Leg Capital and Ship Stage Cargo Co. Salmon Run is getting a returning stage, the Salmonid Smoke Yard from Splatoon 2. And then new slop suits, which are the costumes that you wear in Salmon Run. New weapons, new table turf, new challenges. So, a new season of stuff for Splatoon 3. But the part that really caught my attention, the same video, they revealed the Deep Cut amiibo. So that's the idols in the new game. Their amiibo are coming out November 17th. Shiver, Fry, and Big Man will be available as separate packages. They're not bundling them together.
Gotcha.
For $15.99 each. Pre-orders went live for them on Monday, today as we're recording this, on Best Buy, and I didn't get to it right away. But I've got a disease where amiibo are concerned, so I was able to pre-order them. It doesn't seem like they're as super high demand, or if Nintendo's just made enough of them.
Gotcha. All right, that's good for you.
Big Man, I gotta say, I don't know if you're familiar with these characters at all. He's like the manta ray of them.
Okay, was he in Splatoon 2?
No,
then maybe not.
No, these idols are just in Splatoon 3.
Gotcha.
The amiibo himself is enormous.
Oh, wow.
I was trying to figure out exactly how wide it is. And the only constant with amiibo is the size of the base. The base of an amiibo is a diameter of about 2 inches, and he is easily as long as that base on either side. So he's at least 6 inches wide, which is enormous for an amiibo. You're seeing
I'm looking
at
it now. That is a very sizable amiibo. It's very much it's very going to peacock all over your other
that's
amiibos.
Right. Big chunky boy.
Yes.
And then in Japan, they're also selling them as a 3-pack, which is kind of cool. I'm a little bit jealous of that.
Yes. I don't know enough about amiibos. Do amiibos from Japan translate over to American usage?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume they would.
Okay.
I mean, Switch games are region free, so I would assume that the amiibo are as well. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, and I guess it would just still not be worth it with shipping and all that junk.
Yeah, it's gonna cost a lot of money to do that.
Yes.
It's I have, and I think the only reason I have done this is because that I bought these amiibo, because I'm, like I said, barely playing Splatoon 3, is that I have yet to not get a Splatoon amiibo. I have them all. There are holes in every other amiibo collection I have, but not that one.
Gotcha. No, it's hard to make your first hole in a collection. I get that.
Right.
You're like, why am I going to stop here? What stopped me before?
Right. And why wouldn't I have stopped earlier?
Yes.
I didn't. So I guess I got to keep going. In an interview with NHK, Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa gave a little insight into the company's philosophy moving forward. Not sure exactly what to take from these two little quotes here, but I pulled some out as translated by Nintendo Everything. One is on Nintendo's philosophy on competing for gamers' attention. Quote, "We always keep in mind that if we do not keep putting out things that people truly want, they'll get bored of us. Right now, there are various forms of entertainment besides video games. I believe that making people want to spend their precious time on video games, and Nintendo games no less, is a very harsh battle. We approach everything well resolved to the fact that at any time people may start thinking they do not need Nintendo games anymore."
Well, I can say as a 36-year-old man that hasn't ever crossed my mind. But
never? It's never crossed your mind.
No, I mean other things in addition to Nintendo games, but no more Nintendo games for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny that they have a good kind of competitive edge in them no matter what. I feel like that's what kept them afloat all this time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. I'm still not sure what that means necessarily. Are they trying to say we're going to find ways to make sure we're more compelling than social media, or we're going to integrate it, or I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's and they're obviously not. The Nintendo can put forth several messages at once.
Yes.
But the fact that they just opened this Nintendo Pictures Limited company, and the Mario movie just came out, and obviously the Super Nintendo Land opened in Japan and Universal here. that they're focused on things that aren't just games.
Yeah.
But it's cool for him to just kind of like double down here and be like, no, we know that we need to like drive people to the games.
We are always trying to find a way to be like a event company as well as a video game company. I feel like that's reasonable. I feel like we even see that in movies, just being like, the movies that get really big in box office like tend to be big events, and people come out and roll out and are excited about it. It's not just, oh, we made a great product for you.
It has to be an event product. That's interesting because like the and like not resting on the sort of like idea of what an event is. Because like you see that in movies, right, where it's like superhero stuff is just like crap in the bed now.
Yeah, exactly. People have gotten tired of it, and phases come and go. Like 3D was big for a while, and then it went down the drain again. And then, like people just are trying to find a splashy way, but I feel like it's the people who always last longest are the ones who are like, no, we know it has to be a big deal. We know we have to get you to come out. We know we have to get the legs to stay afloat. And I don't know. It's just smart business sense, I guess.
The other part that I pulled out here is on Nintendo's approach to new technology. Quote, "Well, there is no particular technology we are focusing on at the moment. We are conducting research on a variety of new technologies. However, I believe the most important thing for our company is not seeking out new technologies for novelty's sake, but rather considering how they can lead to revolutions in the act of play itself. The idea is that if we become convinced that incorporating a certain technology can provide customers with a fresh and surprising experience, then we covet its research more strongly, making investments when necessary as well." I mean, I like them acknowledging, like, look, we know there are, like, technological gimmicks out there, and we're not chasing them, even when, like, I mean, like, what was the 3DS then? If not,
I know. This is just them subtweeting VR, essentially. Which is fair, because VR hasn't gone to the realm it needs to yet to be that viable, and everyone else's plans are kind of messy, like PSVR 2 being more expensive than buying a PS5 is very flawed. And they're just kind of like, it's just funny also hear this from Nintendo, because gimmicks have been a lot of Nintendo's like graphical things. You brought up 3DS. They literally made the Virtual Boy. They, and I own the Virtual Boy and love it. Do
you currently own a Virtual Boy?
Yeah, I did that from home. I don't have it here with me in LA, but I do in fact own a Virtual Boy and 8 games, including some of the rarer ones.
That's most of the library.
Yes, most of the U.S. library for sure. And I think they were like, you could hold this against them and be like, no, Nintendo, you've messed around with things before. Don't pull one over on us. But they're also like, I think they're just like trying to be like reasonable about like, we're not going to, like, everyone wasn't sure about the Switch till it came out, and we were like, oh, wait, this is a brilliant idea. So I think they are, like, again, just, if they're going to admit to something, it's probably a wise idea for them.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think that, this, like, betrays a more, like, conservative Nintendo, that they're, like, going to take, like, fewer chances, or is like,
I don't know.
It still sounds like he's open to, like, if we find something that like is weird but contributes to a new way to play.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they're going for. It's just has been like last couple of, they're very, I mean, Nintendo has like a weird conservative streak in them in a sense with their properties, where they don't step out too far out, or they don't give it away too much, but then occasionally they will take the gamble on something, and it usually pays off. Even to the point of like giving away a property here and there, like when they did Metroid Prime, was different retro studios doing that, or when they gave, they even like let the Necrodancer guys make a Zelda Necrodancer.
Totally. And like the Mario plus Rabbids games, like that's
absolutely Ubisoft. Yeah, like a rare win for both of them combined. Yeah, no, I think they are just like, if there is a for sure fire game in there that will be fun to play and can get a fan base or made our current fan base happy, they will happily hand the keys over. I feel like I think they're just cagey, and they know they probably, like any other game studio, have a lot to lose, so they don't have like.
Yeah, totally. Well, and they're also like in a weird space.
Yeah.
Or a weird time, I guess, right now, right? Where like we all know there's some new Nintendo hardware coming in like the next year.
Rumblings of the Switch 2 is supposed to be like near the end of 2024.
And like who knows, right? But he's got to just be like picking his words carefully as we get closer to that.
Like it can't just be Switch 2 or Switch again, but better resolution or better stuff. It has to be like,
that's not enough for Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I mean that's wise for them. I mean, it's backfired before. Wii U was certainly more than the Wii, and it's still like it was too confused and too backwards about it, and didn't get enough third-party stuff. I do think but I do think they have like the indie backing, the indie ways to like all the stuff they can do with that. I feel like they'll make the right decision.
Yeah, and I as always, look forward to being surprised by them.
Yes, that's true too.
The thing I do not see coming.
To be immediately skeptical about what they did decide, and then be proven wrong as soon as it's in my hand. Yeah.
Yep, every time. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge Dimension Shell Shock got another trailer and a release date. New trailer shows off a new playable character, Karai. Her appearance is based on, or it seems to be at any rate, modeled on the character's appearance in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters for the Super NES, which a lot of the characters' moves are based on, like the special moves as they appear in that game. She is joining Usagi Yojimbo as the the 8th and 9th playable characters in Shredder's Revenge. You mentioned Shredder's Revenge before. Are you excited about this DLC? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, definitely. It's something I've been wanting to go back to because I just blasted through it with Kelsey, and we would always love to go back and play like a good, fun, easy, accessible game like this, and then more new stuff for it sounds great. I didn't know all these details, which is really exciting. That's really cool that they put in like the real historian work there.
Yeah, they did. And look, they didn't consult me, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles historian Patrick Ellers.
Somehow
they didn't. But they're adding some alternate color palettes. Previously, we had seen the 8-bit color palette, which is pretty cool. Makes it look like they're the arcade game. But there's also there are Game Boy skins, black and white comics inspired skins, and some like versions of the characters in different series skins. So that's all very cool. Some new dimensions were shown off in the Dimension Shell Shock mode, including one that's inspired by the black and white Mirage comics. Comes out August 31st for $7.99. I wasn't really tracking to the fact that this wasn't free DLC, but whatever. I don't care. I'll pay for this in a heartbeat.
And $8, I feel like it's that always sweet spot of DLC. Where you're like, why not? I love this game. I'm gonna spend a little bit more and have it longer. I'll be curious how if like Game Pass wise, you have to buy it for Game Pass to play it, or it also is free. But even if it isn't, it is like tempting enough to be like, I should give a little bit of my money. It was a fun game.
I mean, I'm so in on turtle stuff that like, I'm there. But yeah, it's I like Usagi Yojimbo a lot. Those comics are super great, and Stan Sakai's a legend. And he's so rarely in video games. So I'm absolutely there for this. And finally, the Batman Arkham Trilogy on Nintendo Switch got a release date, October 13th, and that was after it previously just had the like nebulous later this year. Not a lot to say about this, but do yourself a favor and look up the promo art for the Arkham Trilogy. It's just a very cool like thumbnail of Batman characters from these Arkham games in like not exactly like it's in the style, but it's not the like photorealistic style of the games.
No, it's very cool. I recommend. I'm looking at it now, and it's a very cool graphic balance between just being full on comic book graphic artist style and like the more obviously rock steady art direction. That's very cool.
Are you a fan of the Arkham games?
Yeah, I've only really played the first two. I haven't been Knight or Origins, and always been meaning to go back because I'm sure I have them on at least 3 of the consoles I own. But and I don't know how the Switch version, if they're looking good or not. I haven't kept up with it. I probably won't buy it that way. But like those are cool games, and if you definitely haven't played them before, I can't imagine a better package. So
sounds like we have identical relationships to these games, and that I also didn't finish Knight or Origins. Origins not part of this collection.
Gotcha. It's Knight. Yeah, it's the first 3.
Yeah. Or the first 2 and the 4th one.
Yeah. Right. I forget. I really don't know. And then there was like a Blackgate one that was like a more of a like 2.5D thing.
Yeah, it was on like was it on 3DS and Vita or something?
I think it was that way. I have it on Steam as well.
Why don't they? I mean, it's because they're not Rockstar games or Rocksteady games.
Yeah.
But like, it's so weird. Like, there's a whole other game, and they're all published by the same. Like, put them together.
Yeah.
Bundle them up, guys.
That is always weird in any like kind of collection bundles. Like, you want to be comprehensive.
Yeah.
And usually you can get away with it, but it always is because there's a big ass parent company to it. Like, the Turtles collection is all of them, and it's because it's all Konami or something.
That's a good collection, the Cowabunga collection. Yeah, it's, speaking of Konami and collections, the Metal Gear Solid collections that are coming out, I think, in October, or the collection that comes out in October. I'm still mad that the VR missions aren't part of that.
Yeah, no, that would be, again, just all the little balanced parts. Like, why not do that?
Let's put them all in.
Yeah, that's what we want.
All right, Hearn, let's get out of the news.
All right.
All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Michael Hearn, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me to talk about Nintendo news.
I mean, I can't do it alone. Can't talk about Nintendo news alone. And I thank you for your perspective and knowledge. You're very well informed on all this stuff. Yeah. Do you ever go like, man, why do I have all this information?
What else should I be using my brain for? Something useful?
Nah, that's not going to happen. All right. Like I said, that's going to do it for the show. Thanks again, Michael. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8BitBetty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Michael Hearn, this is Patrick Ellers saying thank you for listening.